So out here in Regenera, we just closed the last session for cohort 1. That was the midday session. There'll be another tonight, or wherever you are in the world, your time zone, your frequency. You can tune in if you go to, where do they go? Maybe somebody will plug that in. There's so many websites. Go to regenera.art, regenera.city. You'll find everything there.
Yeah, you can see, I think designscience.studio/regenera is all there. Everyone look at my back of my screen there.
There you go. Yeah. So, but you know what? We haven't done yet on the show, and every day has been so different, hasn't it, Brett? Yesterday, we were hysterical. I saw Alana was on the show, and in the recording, she's like trying to wipe the smile off her face because her cheeks hurt so much from laughing. We had Paul Miller from The Nature of Work, his project, sharing, and the two of them kind of nurtured some ideas. They're in proximity. Paul wrote me an email afterwards and said he's going to go check out what their community is doing. You are in the near too, as I understand it, so maybe you could weave with them. And that is a big part of the essence and the intent, which was yesterday's session, was all about intention, wasn't it? And the intent of this first year of the Design Science Studio is to send us off into a decade of exploration with a cohort every year and the alumni going forth that would wish to, and evolve this storyverse that Brett just brought up. And that's being projected, emitted, it's being beamed in a variety of different platforms. And one of them is a platform called New Art City, and we have in there MORA, which is the Museum of Regenerative Art. And Brett, maybe you want to switch over to me, and then I can take us on a tour. Maybe you want to make me co-host, if that's possible, and then we'll.
I think I did.
Okay, great. So let's see. How do we do this here? Okay, here we go. Hi. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a screen share, and we're going to go check out MORA. It's you have to be on a computer, I think, or is that Topia? I don't know. The platforms.
Yeah, I've got to think it's. Yeah, I think it has to be a computer. It's VR, yeah, like it's like a all VR kind of space. So.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I think it's here.
Hopefully we'll see if your computer can.
So do you see this, my two birds?
We see your drawing, yep.
Yeah, so first of all, I just went looking for them because somehow I have a drawing for almost every topic. And there was this topic about crossing thresholds and what you were just speaking about from your quote, and just all this came to mind in this
drawing. There you go, two birds on a door frame.
Yeah, threshold, on that threshold, welcoming us.
Awesome.
But here's what I want to do is I want to go to MORA. You tell me, so can you see right now, this is just the, before we go into the exhibit, everybody can see that, okay? Great. Now,
so far, so good.
Yeah, there's a few things about MORA. It has sound, it has video, it has stills, I guess you could let artwork, but you are in a 3D virtual world. And this has been created by everybody who's participated in this, including the space itself. And what you're going to find is that you are in this virtual world, this idea that we are trying to convey this story through, and there are floating cities. And so let's go in there, and sometimes it may take a bit to load, and so I'll just chat through that, and we'll see if we can convey what's happening here. So this is what happens when you arrive. Everybody there? You there?
Yeah, it's working so far.
Great. So this is you've walked into the museum. To your right, I think, is the store. When you use your cursor, your mouse, you're turning left and right. You're looking up and down. And then when you use your arrow keys, you can move left or right versus looking left or right with your mouse. So here's your map, your MORA. There's two sections, I believe, to MORA because there's so much artwork. You can see, look, there's my exhibit number 1 there at the top left. The challenge is to find it. That took me a minute, and maybe that'll help that we're here together and I can get us there a little quickly, because I haven't spent much time there. Look, there's a floating asteroid or something. What's interesting is you can go right through the exhibit and then you can look from the other side. It is virtual, and you are a wave. You are a frequency. You are just here, bouncing around. And so we're here, we're looking around. We just came out of this space. Is this working okay while I'm moving?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, I'm
Isn't it
shocked.
crazy? Yeah,
Yeah.
so we just came out of that, and you're gonna see over here this geodesic dome. And you'll see the sign come up. When you mouse over, it's the artist's work. And you'll see down in the bottom right, the Eleprocon Epiphany. This is my artwork. This is a funny story that came out 40 years ago. And we're backcasting here to share that. And this is my, in essence, swirling in a backcasting eddy. This notion that the more my peripheral vision extends out, the more I can take in, right? And as Bucky Fuller said, there is no up and down in the universe. There's only in and out. And we did a great song with Jurgis, this in and out, this back and forth song. There's so much art and so much music and so much creativity that's come out of us being together here in this space of building and co-creating Regenera, that it's just been a wonderful, wonderful experience. So here's my in and outness. Here's my sense of being over the years. And it starts with a story that I told about being at the expo in Japan in Osaka in 1970 and standing in front of a geodesic dome that was the EAT exhibit that actually housed the experiment in art and technology. It was the precursor to what we are doing here, but virtually. You walked into this space and you looked up, and there was a giant sphere, a reflective sphere that you could see yourself, but in context with everybody else in this big fisheye effect. It was an experience that they wanted you, I believe, thinking back now, to the fact that in 1968, 2 years previous to me walking into that space in Japan at the Expo of Harmony and Progress for Mankind, was this idea of the overview effect being transmitted from the astronauts' sense of awe when they returned to Earth and shared that with the artists and technologists to help get a new perception, a new refraction, a different way to look at where we in fact are. That was quite something to experience, but what I found even more so was growing into the ideas and the ideals of those that took that photo, for example, like Stuart Brand, and created the Whole Earth Catalog, which was a compendium of your roots of being, the ideals that you carry forth in this strand, in this thread, that of a sense of place, a sense of community, and a sense of story. And how might we get there? How might we anchor in such a future that our heart knows is possible? We go in and out and in and out. And it's such a beautiful thing to do when you actually can just go in without having to look for a door. Well, look at that. Wait, hold on. There's that photo. And I'm going right through it. And now I am in the exhibit. I don't know if you can hear the sound. There's the sound of nature. There's a bird. And I'm looking up at myself looking in. I did not create this dome for this exhibit. I did not ask for a dome. I had a bunch of artwork, which are my artifacts, my videos, my stories to tell. But it was through being with those here in the Design Science Studio that this actually emerged.
Reminding us what we've known all along. Divine.
So what happened was, as crazy as the story may be, I actually found out that I was being offered a dome to move my story into, which is pretty crazy considering that I had also just been offered the opportunity to move into a geodesic dome in real life at the same time. And it was a geodesic dome that was built by a very dear friend of mine when I had the Eleprocon Epiphany. And it took all of this time to be caught in this swirling, backcasting eddy, to be reminded of everything that has transpired in and out, to bring you into my world, my artwork, that you can actually visit here in MORA, in Regenerative, the heart of the Regenaissance, where 144 artists are sharing what they have in mind to create a more beautiful world our hearts know is possible. And that is why I'm here, kind of how I got here, but I don't know if it's clear enough, the full intent that is here. And I think the only way that you can really experience it is to actually share what's coming from each of these artists and the stories that they are being willed forth from the future that is asking us to backcast, asking us to reference what is truly in our hearts. What are we beaming? What are we projecting out? What are we reverberating to be human beings? It's quite something to be I'm so lost in all of this, and I'm a little exhausted from the week. But I got to tell you, it's been quite a journey. So,
dude, I've got evolutionary jealousy. I want my own museum of art piece. I've got to get on that.
You know what, Brett? I can tell you.
That was great. That was great. I loved seeing your pictures in there. That was fantastic.
It's quite something, actually, to go into the space and you are acoustically in there. You move closer, the sound gets louder. But it's really something to be able to move right through things and then look back at where you've come and still see that kind of essence and reflection. And to co-collaborate and co-create, like you, with this whole beaming project. This didn't come out of just us working together in this Design Science Studio 8 months. This is something we didn't know we were co-creating, but we had intention because all we were doing was playing, right? Do you remember that? We created a spell, you created a spell, you cast a spell with the word co-creation when the Eleprocons evoked that from you. You remember that?
Those crafty little critters, I know.